It's been 3 days since the tragic situation unfolded at the Apalachee High School in Georgia. And in just under 72 hours, I feel like I almost know everything there is to know about the suspect, Colt Gray. I've seen pictures of him as a kid. I've seen current pictures. I've heard stories about what he was dealing with in high school. I've heard from the grandma. I've heard from the aunt. We've heard from several other family members. We've heard from teachers. Of course, we heard from the dad who is now in jail. We know all about the mom. Hell, I'm not even covering the story, so I'm not following this story that closely. But even I know intimate details about Colt Gray's family life. I know about specific arguments that Colt Gray's father and his mother had 2 years ago. Folks, we know all of this in 3 days, and in reality, in like 2 days, right? All of this information. But you want to know what the craziest part is about this? The craziest part is that this situation happened a couple of days ago, and we've been overwhelmed by all of this information coming in. Yet the Trump situation happened 2 months ago, and we still know nothing about Thomas Matthew Crooks. That's the craziest part about this Colt Gray situation to me. The fact that the media is ready and willing to feed you all this information. Hey, here's this info. Here's this info. Go run wild with it. The media is putting forth an active effort to find out details about Colt Gray. They're going and questioning his family members, you name it. Well, what about Thomas Matthew Crooks? Does Thomas Matthew Crooks not have a grandma? Does he not have an aunt? Does he not have former teachers? Do you not want to hear from his dad? Where is the effort in finding all of this information about Thomas Matthew Crooks? In just a few hours, we had pictures of Colt Gray. We got pictures of him as a kid, and we got his current look. We've seen pictures of him currently. Not a single one of you watching this video can tell me that you've seen a current photo of Thomas Matthew Crooks. Yeah, they shared a bunch of photos when he was like 12, 13, and 14. Yeah, we do have those photos that the snipers of the Secret Service took on their cell phones when they were allowing him to creep around the rally. But you don't have a current photo of Thomas. What about Thomas's social media history? We don't know nothing about that, but we know Colt Gray was on social media. We know that he was on there sympathizing with trans people and was most likely one himself, and he was bullied for being gay. We know those details, right? But what about Thomas Matthew Crooks? And people keep asking me, cover this situation, cover this situation. Folks, I'm not falling for the hype. I know that all of you are already, let's go look up Colt Gray. Let's see what Colt Gray did. And automatically, just like that, you forgot about what happened with Thomas Matthew Crooks. And by the time you get to, the deeper, darker details of Colt Gray, there'll be another situation just like it, and your attention will be drawn to that. Because just like that, everyone's attention spans are this short, and everyone's hopping all over. Let's find out about the newest tragedy. But we never got to the bottom of the last tragedy or the one before that. So all I'm saying here is that when I look at this situation, I can't help but realize, I can't help but notice, the media is putting forth an effort in this story that they did not put an effort, they did not put the same effort in the Thomas Matthew Crooks situation. And you see, so you can provide us with information, right? You can tell us about the social media history. You can show us what he looks like. We can hear from family members. This Colt Gray situation and what happened at the Apalachee school, it should be a wake-up call. It should show you that when the media wants to, when the powers that be want to, they can put all this information in front of you just like that. And they could have done the same thing with Thomas Matthew Crooks, but they chose not to. And here we are months later, and it's still a big secret that everyone has forgotten about, because most of you all, and I'm not saying you all watching the video, but most people are already, on to the next one. Let's go to the next thing. And that's how it happens, folks. That's how this door keeps revolving. It doesn't open and shut, it revolves. And everyone, they smash right in and they revolve with it, and they don't notice the pattern. They're just constantly revolving, tragedy to tragedy, tragedy to tragedy. Let me find out the newest details about this tragedy. Oh, well, what about that tragedy? What about this kid kidnapped? You know, and it's like, damn, folks, take a breather. And if you stop and take a breather and stop chasing these tragedies, maybe you would get to the bottom of the last tragedy before you move to the next one. So I do find frustration in this because I feel like it's so blatantly obvious that one story is being covered up while the other story is being used for an agenda right before the election to basically take your guns away and all of that stuff. We know the agenda, right? But they're ready and willing to feed you that information as we sit here patiently waiting on any details about Thomas Matthew Crooks that are never going to come out. We can't even get a current photo. It's like this dude didn't exist. This dude was working, he knew people, lived in this town. It's like he didn't exist. No trace, nothing, no info, nothing at all. Mind you, they got the biggest investigation in the world going on into Thomas Matthew Crooks. Zero, zilch, nada. Meanwhile, within 12 hours of what happened in Apalachee, you got all of these details floating around. So all I'm saying, folks, is hopefully you all are watching this and you're noticing the difference in the coverage of these stories. And you have to ask yourself, why is there such a drastic difference? Why are they ready and willing to feed us all of this information about Colt Gray, but they are closed-lipped, zipped-mouthed when it comes to Thomas Matthew Crooks? And I'm watching people like fake fascination into the Colt Gray situation, almost pretending as if there's some mystery there. There's no mystery there, folks. It's blatantly obvious what's going on. You got a young kid from a dysfunctional household who was radicalized by trans ideology. Yes, he's definitely a them, they. You can tell by his current pictures. That's why they were sharing his kid pictures at first, because when you see his current photos, you automatically know he's one of them. How do I know? Because all of them look exactly the same. They go out of their way to make themselves look this way. So automatically, there's no mystery there. Kid from a dysfunctional household, radicalized by trans ideology. He wrote about this on social media for the naysayers out there. The father was trying to overcompensate. His son, was being bullied for being gay or whatever. His dad was trying to overcompensate by taking him out to hunt, trying to do these manly things, trying to turn him into the son that he wanted him to be, and he rejected it and wanted to become a trans lunatic terrorist killer, like we've seen so many times. Hell, for like the last 2 or 3 years, every one of these crazy events has been carried out by one of them. So folks, there's no mystery there. We can tiptoe and dance around the truth, but if you're being direct, there's no mystery there. Whereas opposed to Thomas Matthew Crooks, there's still a big mystery, because it's almost like this guy didn't exist at all. We don't really know the true, we know the motive, but we don't know the deeper details. We don't know about this guy's personal life hardly at all. You know what I mean? So if you want mystery, that's where the mystery is at. This is the story that needs to be solved. This is the situation that we need to get to the bottom of. The Colt Gray, you're going to see another one just like it in a couple of weeks probably. Honestly. That's how things go in this country nowadays. You got these gender confused little kids out here going on straight up rampages. Like I said, no mystery. The only reason why it feels like there's a mystery is because most of the people covering this story aren't going to come out and just say it like I will. But for now, you just say how you feel down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I guess I'll talk to you all soon in the next one.